It's been a busy affair, but I wasn't there. Still I got some patterns that I'd like to share. Time for my private needle fair.
Hello folks, and welcome to a new episode of my Flosstube channel. It's been quite a while since I have been here. I don't know what happened. It was crazy busy. If you have seen my Flosstube during December, I did a lot of videos, and I took a little holiday after in January, early February, and somehow we are the end of March already. I honestly, it's just flown by. I haven't been lazy, however. I've been really busy. I've got loads of patterns to show you. As you all probably know, Nashville needle market has been. I never tend to go to the needle market. Well, never tend to go. I don't go to the needle market. I offer just my patterns for sale to people in my shop as PDFs. You can also get printed patterns in some select shops. For instance, Caroline in Canada, Evertote.ca sells some of my print patterns, but your local needle shop might carry them as well. So if you want to get print patterns, you can always ask them. They can order them from ICG in the US, which is a print-on-demand company that prints the patterns for me and sends them to needlework shops. So if you are a needlework shop and you want to stock my patterns, have a look at icgcrafts.com. You can register there for a free account if you are a business, and you can order my patterns wholesale as well. But I'm not going to keep this video very long. I have a lot to dive through, so let's get into some stuff that I have for you, some new releases. So the first one that I want to talk about is the Dream of a Winter Garden, which is a small freebie that came with the stitch along that I did with Evertote and Roxy Flosco this December. It was absolutely amazing. It sold out in absolutely no time last year. I know Caroline has extra kits this year, I believe. There are some available, so if you want to participate, it's going to be just as much fun, if not even more fun this year. And we have, I'm already working really hard to get lots of videos and extra little things ready for you, so that's very exciting. But you can find all the information that you need in the drop down link just below here, or if you visit evertote.ca, you will find all the information as well. But last year's bonus pattern is now available, as is the stitch along pattern. But the bonus pattern was called Dream of a Winter Garden, and that's just using up flosses that were part of the kit, but you can stitch it with any flosses that you like. So that's a nice way to get through some floss. And it's not a big pattern. It's about 141 crosses wide, 101 crosses high. So it's a nice, a fun project. I think it's very doable to get along with things. This year I'm again, or last year I was in the stitch along in the Japanese magazine, and that finished, which was very exciting. But the year before, that pattern has now become available in my shop, and that's called Winter in the City. I was super excited about that pattern. It uses some really nice border patterns and things from the Netherlands, and a little landscape, which is reminiscent of the little cities that we have around Rotterdam here. And I was really happy about the pattern. I had loads of people ask me when will it be available, and it is available now in my shop. Last year's stitch along will be available from January 2024 onwards. So, I mean, that's not too long either. So that's some of the older patterns, but you might have seen those already. I have a whole bunch of brand new patterns as well. The first one is the Unicorn Pincushion, which is as the name says, a pincushion, so it's not a humongous size. It is still 130 crosses high and 93 crosses wide. I named the pincushion purely because I thought if you stitch it on very fine linen, 36, 40 count, it will be about pincushion size, but it will make a really nice little picture as well. You can also choose only to stitch the unicorns around the flower pot and just use that as a pincushion, so it becomes a little bit smaller. and it becomes a bit of a quicker stitch as well. This pattern has, let me just check the amount of crosses. If you stitch it as it is, it has about 5,208 crosses. So that is the Unicorn Pincushion. But there is more. I also did a first flowers pattern, which I was really excited about. I just wanted, I had bought a few textiles, a few decorative towels from Germany these past few weeks, and they really inspired me to create some of these sort of folk-like flower pot patterns myself. I will share the towels in an upcoming video, as I have already charted them as well. So that will be a future to be released, which is going to be exciting. But this one is just a really fun little pattern. Again, you can stitch it up as a pincushion or as a needle book, as something that, whatever you fancy, a bookmark even. It's 137 crosses high and 65 crosses wide, and it has a total of 3,222 crosses if you work it as it is. If you leave the border off, then it has considerably less stitches as well. This one was, for me, it's been really gloomy weather. It's a gloomy day today again, and I felt that I wanted to create something that felt hopeful, and like spring is around the corner. You can smell spring already in the air, although it doesn't look very spring-like at the moment. We've had horrendous weather last week, which was freezing cold and snow and sleet and all of that malarkey, which wasn't great fun. But it's part of sort of the spring winter season, I guess. But yeah, I really long for that little promise of spring and summer. We've got some bulbs in our front garden, narcissi and stuff like that have started to bloom, and it's just really nice and cheerful to see some flowers in the city pop their heads above ground again. So this is the first flowers as a little sort of call out to that I'm looking forward to spring. The second one is the autumn flower pincushion. I wanted to have the opposite side of that as well, with the last couple of flowers. So it's got some roses and some little branches. It is much more of a wintry sort of autumn winter feel, that one. And this is a very small pattern, 79 crosses high and 52 crosses wide. And that has 2,388 crosses. So depending on the size of your linen, just over one skein of DMC should be more than enough to finish this one. And you can stitch it monochrome as the artwork shows, or you can use as many colors as you like. But that's always with all of my patterns. I'll leave that up to you. The last of the four brand new small-ish patterns is a tree of friendship, and I'm really excited about this one because this one also harks back to the decorative towel patterns and the sort of the idea of these big trees and the little figurines and stuff. And I am doing some needle get-together things this year and next year, and I'm super excited about that. There is one in London, Ontario, that I'm doing with Evertote, and Roxy Flosco will be there, of course, and it's going to be super exciting. 2 full weekends in October this coming year. And I just can't believe how close by that already is. It's literally like now how quickly these past 3 months have gone. It's going to be like in my head next week. But yeah, October. So it's I'm super excited to see everyone. I hope you will come as well. There is still tickets available for, I think, both weekends. I think the first weekend is nearly completely sold out. There are some for the second weekend available. Again, check out Caroline's website. She has all the details and you can find out everything there. But yeah, I'm super excited about that. But what I really like about these get-togethers is the friendships that people get at these get-togethers. People become needle friends, really, and that's such a beautiful thing. And I wanted to create something celebrating friendships in needlecrafts. So I created a tree of friendship, which is sort of like a traditional-looking tree of life. It has 2 little ladies holding some flowers in their hands. It's all very primitive-looking, very simple. It's 159 crosses high, 105 crosses wide, and you can use initials of your best friend that you stitch on the little pattern. But you can do whatever you like. It comes with a whole set of initials, so you can use whatever you like. You can use your own initials on there. You can gift it to a friend with your best friend's initials on it, or you can do whatever you like. It's completely up to you. The chart doesn't have the initials and the year on it, but it comes with a set of numbers and letters, so you can just fill in whatever you want to do with that one. And I hope it will find its way into the stitching community, because I think it's a really nice thing to gift to someone, or maybe gift to yourself, which is going to be fun. It's also something that you could stitch onto something decorative. I know that I need some new curtains in our bathroom, and I'm thinking that the little trees might actually be stitched onto a curtain on the bottom, just at the center. I think it's going to be looking quite cute, actually. It's not a huge project. This one has, let me just check if I have the stitches here. It has 3,912 crosses. So if you use 2 DMC skeins, then you can do it on with 2 strands on 32 count linen or 16 count data. So it's not going to cost you the earth. Size wise, on 32 count linen, for instance, it would be 10 inches by 5/8. I can't do my division, sorry. I'm just going to do centimeters. 25.5 centimeters and 17 centimeters wide. That's on 32. But all the sizes for 14 count / 28 count linen up to 56 count linen are included on the website and in the booklet, with estimates for floss as well. That's the sort of original patterns. Now I have some period samplers as well. One I haven't got here at the moment with me, but it's my oldest dated sampler, which is an extremely faded but really lovely sampler from 1699. And recently I was studying it a little bit more, and I discovered that actually the initials right at the top either had been unpicked or had been eaten. I don't know what happened there. Maybe it was a different type of floss that was very sensitive and just sort of fell out. The weird thing is that all of the silk floss is in perfect condition except for the initials, so it makes me wonder if someone unpicked the initials and maybe tried to replace them with their own initials. But it is the old dated sampler in my collection. I know I have samplers that are before this date, but there's no date on them, but they will be around the sort of mid to the late 17th century, so we're talking about 1650 to sort of 1680, around that period roughly. But this one is 1699, has a date on it and initials. Unfortunately, no other initials, so there's no way of actually knowing who stitched it, this lovely piece. The colours were so faded that I chose to sort of change the colours up, brighten them a little bit, and just make it a little bit more my own. But the pattern is very loyal to what the original pattern was, including the little mistakes that the stitcher made. It is 209 crosses wide, 147 crosses in height, and it uses, I believe, 6 colours. Yeah, 6 colours of floss. There's 3 colours that you will need about 2 skeins for, and the other ones you would just need the 1 skein. But all of the details are again on my website with the sizes and everything, so you can find that one out all there. The second period sampler that I have, I'm going to show you that one. I found this one in an antique shop in Amsterdam, and my apologies if there's a lot of noise, by the way, coming from the table and everything. This is a really, really glorious sampler that I bought in Amsterdam about a month ago now, I think. And I saw this and I knew I had to buy it. It was from 1817, and the stitcher is IAB. Whoever she was, I have no idea. There's no way of finding out who she was, sadly, or where exactly she stitched it, but it's most likely a Dutch sampler, I would say, with nearly 100% certainty that this is a Dutch sampler. She worked in lovely, colourful silks, which are still as bright on the back and the front as they are here. The yellows might be a little bit brighter here as well, but it's a really charming sampler. I absolutely love this border. She stitched literally every single little flower, constantly a different flower or branch. It's got little birdies here, there's little birdies here. The central vase with the roses is just absolutely gorgeous. It has some little birdies again in the rose bush. So yeah, that's IAB 1817, the rose bush sampler. And honestly, I couldn't be happier with this one. It was a super good find. Yeah, I'm very happy with this one. And that one is also in the shop again. And this one uses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different colours. It's all charted for DMC, like the previous sampler as well. But you can just change it to whatever floss you like. You can get colours similar to the DMC colours that I'm suggesting from Roxy Flossco, or you can just sort of decide to go rogue and pick your own flosses. To be honest with you, that is probably what I would do. Just have fun with these things. It's really not strict that it should be exactly reproduced as the sampler is. I have had a discussion a while ago in the Sampler Guild. We had a really lovely discussion about how you reproduce samplers and your ideas about reproduction samplers and how accurately you try to be with your reproductions. And this is the Sampler Guild that Linda Haddon runs, by the way, who I had a chat with a while ago. I'll link to the Sampler Guild as well, because you're more than welcome to join us. We've got really lovely weekly meetings on Wednesdays, and it's just an awful lot of fun. It's a really lovely group of like-minded stitchers that all sit and stitch and show their stuff that they're working on that day. So it's always good. But we were talking about how it is pretty much impossible to chart a sampler exactly as it has been stitched, because often the linen would be so uneven. I mean, this is full of big slubs here as well. So this girl actually had to sometimes go over one thread, because otherwise it would have been a giant cross. The problem that this girl had when she was stitching is, and this is also something that I want to sort of emphasize, that you shouldn't worry if you make a mistake and your borders don't line up. Don't frog it. Just keep going. Girls did that all the time, and their samplers really don't look any worse for it. So she started here, and what she did was 3 crosses horizontally, 3 crosses diagonally, 3 crosses horizontally, a space of 1 cross, and then again 3 crosses horizontally, 3 diagonally up, etc. And that repeated all the way around the border, from here, here, all the corners, except for here. Now, I checked this so many times and I cannot find where she went wrong. So I think there is a couple of places here where the threads must have been a bit thicker, and she just sort of did some fantasy things here. It doesn't line up, the birds are out of whack here, but it doesn't matter. It's still a really, really, really charming sampler. I have decided not to include this error because it would have been so complex, because I would have had to do some bits where you had to do half stitches, or maybe stitches over 3 threads or whatever, to get this weird error in there. So I've designed it perfectly where this thing here and this thing here, it matches up perfectly. Now, I think that's absolutely fine to do, because it's an interpretation of an antique sampler. And had she worked on perfectly fine linen, and had she actually been super bothered to get it all match up perfectly, I'm sure she would have been able to do that. But she didn't, and she made do with what she had, and she just went on with it, and it still looks absolutely perfect. So when you find that your boards don't match up, antique borders never really match up. I mean, I have one here, this one is a lovely example as well. This is a really glorious sampler as well. I have charted this one. This will be a future release sometime very soon, I hope. But again, here, this is all lovely, 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 and then there is some weirdness going on in this corner, and that's fine. It doesn't do any sort of harm to this lovely, lovely sampler. This one should be out fairly soonish, I think. I hope to do it either at the end of this month or April, but probably I'm saying end of this month, make it April, because as time flies, it will not be done, probably. I have been really lucky as well in finding... Oh, I'm going to try and not make too much noise with the microphone again. I have been really lucky in finding a couple of really exciting reproduction samplers as well. I'll show you some of them. There is a Frisian town called Hinderlopen, and I found 2 samplers from Hinderlopen very recently. This one is by a girl called Ok Romkes. She stitched her dad here. Her mum is, I believe, where was she again? I think that's her mum, if I'm not mistaken. And that's her brother. So yeah, this is a really wonderful sampler from the Frisian town of Hinderlopen, which is a coastal town sort of in the southwest corner of the province. It was a very rich province. Girls there stitch these beautiful samplers, often with red and green, and ecru, and sometimes just 2 colors green, which is I find very fascinating. I've noticed that in several samplers now where they were working with 2 colors green, 1 color red, and an ecru sort of color. Beautiful letters. This is nearly like a Scottish sampler, and she stitched the H for Hinderlopen, her town. And there's some really nice furniture here. I will go in depth into these samplers soon when I release the other one. I haven't drawn this one out yet. However, I found a second one. I'll just put that on the board bit here. And this is the sampler from 1781 by Rink Simons. This one is ready to go. Again, it will be April, I guess, when this booklet comes out. I'm still doing some family research into this family, but it's a really charming sampler. Lots of alphabets, beautiful borders again, a lovely wide hem with an open hem here. Family members here stitched. It's an absolute joy, this one. So I'm super excited to share this one with you fairly soon. But that's as far as the new releases are. So 2 period samplers, 4 small samplers that 4 designs that are original and brand new, and then of course the stitch along designs that have been released and are in the shop ready for you now. Not all of them have been uploaded to ICG yet. I've been super busy trying to get all the booklets ready, but over the coming week I hope to put stuff in ICG as well. So when you see this video, just check out, if you are a shop and you want to order some patterns of mine, just check out ICG. They might actually be there already. I have been busy. I've been stitching. I have done this. This is a really tiny stitch which I did, and this is based on Fancy and ABC. And this is just a detail on 56 count linen with, I believe, chalkboard by Roxy Flosco from Evertote.ca. I'm really happy with this tiny little thing here. It is a detail from Fancy and ABC, as I said. You can just get the whole pattern and just pick whatever you want to stitch, or stitch the whole thing. But what I was planning to do was release 3 small personal selections that I think would be really fun for folks to stitch if they like the pattern but they just find the whole thing a little bit too daunting. However, if you are gonna stitch all 3 minis, then you might as well probably get the whole pattern and just cut it up as you think is proper. But this is one of them. This is one of the little birds here. Yeah, I was really excited about this one. Little silly big black bird with flowers and berries. This was a great fun stitch, but I was super happy to have my magnifiers. I had one finish as well, which I still haven't shared. I finished this one, I think in January, and I still haven't shared it with you. This is M. Bell 1856. So this is the original sampler, this is the sampler that the girl originally stitched, M. Bell, which to me looked so much like a Quaker alphabet sampler. To be honest with you, she might not be a Quaker, but I felt when I saw that it was quite likely because of these beautiful alphabets. I love the ampersands as well that she stitched here. There's 2 very strange ones. There's one just that says ampersand here, and then there's the ampersand here and the C, so that basically means etc., which is kind of cool. Then this is the original pattern that I designed to go along with this design, and I stitched my initials and the year I completed it, 2023, and then 2022 for this part that I stitched last year. So yeah, that's MDel. I'm really happy with this finish. The last thing that I don't want to keep this too long, but the last thing that I want to share with you is I've been thinking of doing a few things outside of cross stitch, but still in sort of stitching wise. And I was thinking, I love white work, and I love Frisian white work. The province where I'm from, we produce some really gorgeous white work pieces, like men's collars and stuff like that. So to get people going, I have launched the hashtag White Work Wednesdays. So you can, anyone can join, anyone can release anything. If there's fellow designers that want to share white work patterns and you want to work on them, you can of course work on it any day of the week. But I thought White Work Wednesdays, because I love alliteration. But it's just great fun to sort of just have one day that in your stitching routine, maybe you switch things up a bit and you challenge yourself to learn something new. The idea is that there will be a bunch of videos as well to show you some of the stitches. I mean, I'm still learning myself, but I really love it. I finished this one a couple of days ago. It's my first proper white work piece. I am super stoked about it, to be honest with you. It's a pincushion on 40 or 46. I think it's 40 count. And I just used sort of an ecru off-white sulky sewing machine floss, and it turns out actually that I used the 30 sewing machine number. I thought I had a sulky 12 that I was working with, but actually on this count, whether it's the 40 or the 46, I really love how the satin stitches look, and I'll put a little close-up video as well of this thing because you can't properly see it. So yeah, it says at the top Anno 2023, and then it has my name here, Jacob de Graaf. And it's all white work. It's just satin stitches, there's brick stitches, there is a diagonal stitch that I've forgotten the name of just now by my head. And there is a long arc cross stitch, but you can just do regular cross stitches as well. There's regular cross stitches here, and I don't know if I said eyelets, brick stitches. That's pretty much it. Yeah. So it's really not that difficult to do this one. What I did found very difficult, but it turned out that I was working with the wrong floss, and only when I worked with the Sulky 12 floss did it work out. But I did a little border of like a picot needlework border, which I think works really well, and it actually feels really nice. But these borders were a part of traditional white work collars, because if you wore a collar like my collar here, this would be nicely embroidered, and these pieces came off, so you could wash them separately. So you wash your shirts and beat them about to get them clean. But these collars were delicately soaked, I guess, in a little pan on the sink, and all done really nicely and carefully. However, this would get wear and tear, of course, after a while, and you can darn stuff in the middle of a fabric, but darning, as anyone who has tried it on the edge of a collar, is extremely difficult. So to make them extra strong, they made these beautiful little teeth. They call them mice teeth in some regions, they're called. And I think it's really charming to sort of see that effect. And it gives the edge a really nice sturdy quality as well, because it's properly sewn through the border itself, through the hem. It's decorative, it's really great fun, but you don't need to do that. If you don't want to do that, it's perfect if you just do a plain finish as well. But I think that this picot edge just gives it an edge, no pun intended. Having said that, I think I'm going to leave it with that, folks. I will be travelling to London very soon. I'll be meeting the lovely Linda Haddon in London very soon, and we're going to have a nice coffee and look at samplers. I've had quite a few samplers shipped off her way, and I'll be collecting them in a couple of days, and we'll go through them, I'm sure, and catch up, which will be really nice to do. For now, that's it for this episode. Just make sure to check all the links below. The Stitch Along that's coming up with Evertote and Roxy Floss. There's some available still, so if you want to join in, don't leave it until the last minute, because I'm sure you will regret it. It's going to be a lot of fun to join us again this year. Also, there's some seats for the retreat in October, and that's just so close by as well, so don't leave that too long either. There's a bunch of links there of all the new patterns, and keep a lookout soon again, as there will be more stuff and more samplers coming very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a little like or subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you very soon again. Take care of each other, take care of yourself. Bye bye.